Alright, it is May 31st, 2025, and this is my garden update. Today marks the day that we finished every project that we were going to work on in the garden, besides helping stuff grow, obviously. So let's take a look at everything. This is where we've got some peas. They're growing in very nicely. I germinated them inside of a paper towel in my house before actually putting them in here. And I'm glad I did, because it appears that almost all of them have sprouted except for these ones in the back. Here we've got some bush beans, so that they'll grow without needing a trellis. I'm pretty excited about those. In this bed we have some okra. I planted some more seeds in here today. I'm pretty sure that the squirrels have eaten most of the okra, which is why we're not really seeing a whole lot out of this bed yet. So I just went ahead and overplanted a bunch. Here we've got some cucumbers. This area is just full of them. There's some that are indeterminate that require the trellis. There's some that are determinate that will grow in their own tight little bushes that I'm excited about. And then we've got broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts throughout these beds. You can kind of see them here and here and here. And then we've got a whole bunch of onions and shallots, and so on. We've got some catnip and some cat grass for the babies. I did bring some cat grass in the other day and they didn't even look at it. My herb tower and my strawberry tower I'm gonna call failures. They've some of the layers of it got water and get sunlight, but most of them do not. I would like to get some more of these guys and put them here instead, and do my herbs and my strawberries that way. I do have some that are succeeding, but not a lot. My carrots are doing extremely well. I haven't had a chance to pull any of them yet, but I'm pretty happy with how they're doing. And then over here we've got some parsnips coming up here through the clover. And then we've also got a whole bunch of radishes throughout. So you can see radish. I went through and planted more just quite recently, and that's why we're seeing these the way that they are. Let's see. Oh, and then I had a bunch of bare spots in my yard, so I'm growing clover there too. It makes a nice footpath to walk through, very gentle on the toes. Second, it creates flowers which can be used for pollinators. And in the actual garden themselves, clover is a nitrogen fixer. So it acts as a live manure while protecting the plants instead of using mulch. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's see. I did do some transplants earlier today and they didn't do too great. So I am losing some of what I planted, but that's okay. I did have tomatoes in both of these, but they all got destroyed or blown over or eaten by other things. Luckily, I planted some tomatoes behind the garden beds, and they're actually thriving. So I'm just waiting for those to pop up and be ready to go and move into the beds. Along this row up and down both ways, we can see that I have some sunflowers starting to grow. I'm just waiting for these guys to get bigger, and they should grow 1 to 3 inches per day. And I've got 24 of them planted along this fence right here. I don't think that they will all sprout, but so far most of them have. Here I've got my asparagus. I'm sorry, not asparagus. I had a brain fart here from one. I was trying to think of what all I've actually showed you. This is my rhubarb. I've got some extra plants in here as kind of a distraction, and there is a piece of rhubarb right here that's trying, but it keeps getting eaten. So, but I've got 4 rhubarb plants in here, and this is my asparagus. Just the one. He's trying. This area was a fire pit that I dug out, flattened, and covered with clover. It's filling in very nicely. And then we have some flowers here that could be used to make into some tea, plus a plant that Casey added. We've got some asparagus beans, which get 12 to 18 inches long. They're like green beans. And then here we've got some green and purple tomatillos, doing pretty well. I could probably spread some of these seedlings out a little bit. We got some petunias and some other flowers. And then this has a few different types of mint in it. Once I have a chance, I will remove this tree stump, fill in this area, including this window well area, which there's no window there, so I'd like to fill that, remove the window well, and connect it to that bed right there, and then fill in like a pebble area for the water underneath the hose to drain down so that it's not affecting the soil saturation with water. Here I've got quinoa, some herbs, some clover, some onions, and then a tiny raspberry plant right there. It's not doing the greatest, but that's okay because one of my neighbors was giving away some of their raspberry plants, and I picked one up and put it right here. Then in each of these bags we have melons. Not all of the bags, but these bags here have melons in them. And while we're heading this way, I'll show you what the plans are for up front. So they did a really poor job of landscaping this front area. I want to clean it all out. I'm working on fighting some pests and making my white roses pop back out. My pink ones are doing very, very well. And I would like to put some bright red ones right here in the middle. And then fill in the bed with parsley, which is a companion plant for roses. Helps them look prettier, have nicer blooms, and smell better. As you can see, they're tearing down Bill's house at the moment. So when that is finished, someone has bought the property and they're going to do a survey. And we're going to determine where the property line is. So once I find out whether or not this tree actually belongs to me, if it does, I have a bleeding heart plant on the opposite side of my house that I'd love to just fill in this area amongst these hostas. And then over here, I've started cleaning this area up, but I still have some more work to do, and I have some rare flowers that I would like to plant here. Not super rare, but like money plants, king corals, and some blue bonnets. So coming back this way, we got our melons, more melons, more melons, and then our last melon bag, and then we have our potatoes. So these are potatoes, these are sweet potatoes, potato, russet potatoes, so they're really big. This one's really big. And then throughout the rest of here is mostly chili pepper plants, which are some of my favorite things to grow. We got sweet chilies, lemon chilies, red dragon chilies, jalapenos. This has some of the sweet chilies in it. This had some tomato plants, but we have this squirrel that we are waging war against, and he came through and dug everything out, so I might need to come through and overplant that like I did the okra. Yep, so chilies. These ones are doing especially well. And then I've got my corn. And I recently added this new fire pit. I that's looking pretty good. And then over here, we have the Concord grape plant and the trellis for it to climb up, and the Niagara grape plant and the trellis to climb up. And that was the last project that we had in order to complete the garden. And that is pretty much everything. I'm pretty pleased with how it's all coming along. The yard has really transformed over the last 6 weeks. And I am stoked to see how much else we can do in here.